Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Dr. Ruehl Show. I'm your host, Dr. Franklin Ruehl, and today we pay special homage to the late actor Kevin McCarthy, who recently died at age 96. Specifically, we will show footage from his most famous film from 1956, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Video footage assembled by noted videographer Benny Guzman. When we return, I will reveal a secret concerning that film. So, without further ado, roll!
Oh, Dr. Hill.
Dr. Bassett? Oh, where's the patient?
I hated to drag you out of bed at this time of night.
Will you let me go while there's still time?
You'll soon see why I did.
Will you tell these fools I'm not crazy? Make them listen to me before it's too late!
I'll listen to you. Let him go.
Who are you?
I'm Dr. Hill from the State Mental Hospital.
I'm not insane!
Let him go!
Listen. Doctor, now you must listen to me. You must understand me. I'm a doctor, too. I am not insane. I am not insane.
Now, suppose we just sit down over here, Dr. Bennell, and you tell me what happened.
Well, it started. For me, it started last Thursday. In response to an urgent message from my nurse, I'd hurried home from a medical convention I'd been attending. At first glance, everything looked the same. It wasn't. Something evil had taken possession of the town. These two. Here you are.
Thank you, sir.
There you are. Thank you. Part of this place.
Doc!
Hiya, Sally.
Hi. Welcome home. I'm glad you're back.
How's Mickey and the baby?
Well, they're fine, but it seems that everybody else in San Diego needs a doctor.
Oh?
You've got an office full of patients.
Oh, no. On my first day back?
Well, some of them have been waiting for 2 weeks.
Well, why didn't you send them to Percy or Carmichael like I told you to?
Well, most of them wouldn't go. They want to see you.
Oh? What's the matter with them?
They wouldn't say. You know, usually people can't talk enough about what's ailing them. For instance, Wally Everhart was in twice and called 3 times about something, but he wouldn't tell me what it was.
Funny.
Neither would anyone else, from Becky Driscoll down to that fat traffic cop, Sam Jancic.
Becky Driscoll? I thought she was in England.
She got back a few days ago, and she wanted to see you. Are you still interested?
My interest in married women is strictly professional, or yours would have been a lost cause long ago.
How was the convention?
Wonderful. They wept with envy when I read my paper.
Jimmy!
What's the matter, Mrs. Grimaldi?
It's nothing. He just don't want to go to school.
Well, if I were you, I'd have a talk with his teacher.
And I will when I get time.
What's the matter? Has Joe been sick?
No, we gave you to stand up. Too much work.
The boy's panic should have told me it was more than school he was afraid of. And that littered, closed-up vegetable stand should have told me something, too. When I last saw it, less than a month ago, it was the cleanest and busiest stand on the road.
Its face, Miles, it's vague.
It's like the first impression that's stamped on a coin. It isn't finished.
You're right. There's all the features, but no details, no character, no lines.
It's no dead man.
Have you got an ink pad around the house?
Should be one on the desk. Why?
I want to take the corpse's fingerprints.
Of course it's a dead man. What else could it be?
I don't know, but I've got a feeling that... this sounds crazy, but if I should do an autopsy, I think I'd find every organ in perfect condition. Just as perfect as the body is externally. Everything in working order. All set to go. Hold it now. He's a blank.
Waiting for the final finished face to be stamped onto it.
But whose face? Tell me that.
Here we are.
like huge seed pods.
This must be the way that putty in my closet was formed. Miles, where do they come from?
I don't know. If they are seeds or seed pods, they must grow someplace on a plant, probably. And somebody or something wants this duplication to take place.
But when they're finished, what happens to our bottles?
He's in here! Get him! Get him!
I've been afraid a lot of times in my life. But I didn't know the real meaning of fear until I had kissed Becky. A moment's sleep, and the girl I loved was an inhuman enemy bent on my destruction. That moment's sleep was death to Becky's soul, just as it had been for Jack and Teddy and Dan Kaufman and all the rest. Their bodies were now hosts, harboring an alien form of life, a cosmic form, which to survive must take over every human man. So I ran as little Jimmy Grimaldi had run the other day. My only hope was to get away from Santa Mira, to get to the highway, to warn the others of what was happening.
Wait! Come on, we gotta get out! Wait, let him go. They'll never believe me.
Help! 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 Wait! Help! 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 Wait! Wait! Stop! Stop! Stop and listen to me! Listen to me! Listen! Listen! Those people that are coming after me, they're not human! Listen to me! We're in danger!
Get out of the street!
Danger!
Go on! Get out of here!
You're in danger! Please!
Get out of
see
here!
what
Go
can
on!
happen!
Get out of here!
Get out of here! All of us! Now listen! Listen to me! There isn't a human being left inside of here! Not one! Hey! Hey, stop! Pull up, will you? Pull over to the side of the road. I need your help. Something terrible has happened.
Go on, you drunk! Get out of the street! Get out of here! Go on!
Are you crazy, you big idiot?
Look! You fools! You're in danger! Can't you see? They're after you! They're after all of us! Our wives, our children, everyone! They're here already! You're next! You're next! You're next! You're next! You're next!
You don't believe a word of this, do you? Sure, it's fantastic, but it happened. Don't just sit there measuring me for a straitjacket. Do something! Get on the phone! Call for help!
Welcome back. Now, at the very end of this film, an ambulance driver came in and reported that that truckload of pods had crashed, vindicating Kevin McCarthy's contention that an invasion was pending. Now, I should point out the secret is that that was not the original ending. The final ending initially was Kevin McCarthy on the freeway yelling, "You're next." But the powers that be saw that and felt it was too dislogistic, too negative, so they added these opening and closing scenes. Proof of that is seen in the fact that Whit Basile playing the man in the black suit and Richard Deacon in the white doctor's outfit are both well-known actors, yet they were not listed in the extensive cast list, which covered 3 columns. That's because the scene was added afterwards. And I think I prefer it instead of the one where he's on the freeway. Now, in the cast, we saw the blonde Carolyn Jones, who went on to become best known as Morticia on The Addams Family. The man playing her husband, King Donovan, probably best known for the film The Magnetic Monster. Virginia Christie, not seen in these scenes, was actually best known as Mrs. Olsen, the Folgers coffee lady. And Jean Wills, his nurse, probably best known for her role on the Twilight Zone episode, Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? Now, speaking of the Twilight Zone, my very favorite episode starred Kevin McCarthy, namely Long Live Walter Jameson, where he portrayed a 2,000-year-old professor in an Emmy-caliber performance. Now, on the Ruehl scale, the movie scale, where first magnitude's best, 10th magnitude worst, Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1956 garners a first magnitude rating. Yes, a superb film. Now, the question of the day. Is it possible that such pod entities could exist? Well, I point out that back in 1977, Dr. Viktor Goldonsky of the Soviet Union proposed that right after the Big Bang, prebiotic materials were forming throughout the universe. Some of them, of course, became embedded in the nebulae that ultimately condensed to form stars and planets, giving each planet, in a sense, a chance for life with these prebiotic materials. But more of the materials were floating through the cosmos, not on any planet or star. And I argue over time, we're talking about 13.7 billion years, they may have evolved into a wide diversity of entities, ranging from the microscopic to the macroscopic, perhaps living singly or in colonies, perhaps feasting on basic cosmic dust and gas, or conceivably larger entities would feast upon smaller ones. And with this amount of time, they may have evolved intelligence and a volitional notion to invade other planets. Now, would they be destroyed by atmospheric friction, such as found on Earth? Well, perhaps over time they may have evolved some sort of protective shell or an electromagnetic force field, so they could safely penetrate a planetary atmosphere such as Earth. And they might have the ability then to do what the pod people were doing, assume the identities and forms of any living entities on that planet. Certainly within the realm of feasibility. And we do have a bit of proof. In 1984, NASA launched the LDEF, Long Duration Exposure Facility. When it was retrieved in 1991, they were startled to find a strange growth on some of the plates. It was not mineral, vegetable, or plant. It was unidentified, but possibly a form of zero life. And by the way, I use the term zero life because these entities will be accustomed to basically zero temperature, zero pressure, and zero gravity. So, possibly, zeroids exist and could carry out what we saw in an invasion of the body snatch, certainly within the realm of feasibility. Now, until next time, may the power of the cosmos be with you. Yes!